Welcome to this week's Spinfoil Theory. We're about to take a dive into another mystery from the lore of Destiny the Game. Specifically, we'll be giving high-level scrutiny to popular, emerging, and outlying theories than judging them. If you have any questions or theories of your own, write to us at spinfoiltheory@gmail.com or visit us over at spinfoiltheory.com. And now, let's put on our spinfoil hats and get a little crazy. Here comes this week's show. And we're recording.
Are you sure? I don't know. I don't think we're recording.
I'm seeing the little ziggy-zaggies.
I am too. I was just kidding. It was a joke.
The zizzigies.
It was a joke.
I like it. Oh, man. Welcome to the Spinfoil Theory podcast, everyone. This is your host, Taylor-B, with my co-host here, LadyLucida. How are you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome. I am sad we're not going to see Savathun for a while.
Yeah, she got put in... locked up.
Like more ice.
More ice. Just get a bunch of stasis
on more ice
warlocks.
right now.
Just get a bunch of stasis warlocks and hunters and just throw more, like, glacier grenades at Savathun.
Mm-hmm.
And supers, and they have a bunch of stasis turrets all pointed at Savathun, so if she moves, she's dead. But yeah, no, it's kind of interesting, I guess.
I'm just imagining, like, because she's in almost like an ice straitjacket because it catches her, like, mid-transformation from her Osiris guys. And what really gets me about it is it reminds me, that scene especially that you just laid out, it reminds me of, like, when they're transporting Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's just in the straitjacket with the face mask on.
Yeah.
Can't be trusted.
You know,
Still gets out.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, I guess. I'm hopeful that the ritual thing, exorcism, whatever you want to call it, happens sooner rather than later, because I don't like waiting. Because it's artificial in the sense that, like, they could give it to us right now, but Bungie's like, no, we want you to wait. I mean, I guess it makes sense, kind of, because we have a lot of stuff this season.
4 more months.
Because we have, this upcoming month-ish. I think it's about a month. We have Festival of the Lost. We also have The Dawning. We also have Moments of Triumph this season, apparently, at some point.
Yo, I am
And
hyped
the
on that
anniversary
new Dia de los
event.
Muertos show.
And, yeah, like, there's so much happening this season. I understand why they have to push it back, but maybe there's like a little gap in between Festival of the Lost and the anniversary. Just put it in there, and then the rest of it is just, us celebrate. That'd be fun.
I mean, I'm wondering when they're going to pull the final entry.
Yeah, there's the final entry for Ripples, and then there's that whole other lore book, which is, if you look in the API, you can't read anything. It's all classified, but you can see that it has 27 entries. And that is tied with Mara Senna for most lore entries in Destiny 2. So whatever this book is, it's a big one. And I can't even begin to think of what it could be. Like maybe a Books of Sorrow from Savathun's perspective or something. Like because Savathun did say in the Books of Sorrow, like, scribbled in the margins, like, this is lies. Like, what is the truth? And that would fit really thematically with the whole, survive the truth theme.
Ooh, yeah, like we have to go find her, what were they, Pieces of Darkness?
Yeah, calcified fragments, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But who knows? I'm hoping it's something good and not something, like, silly, like,
I think we were talking about this last week, but I would really think that it would be cool if we had, maybe in the next couple weeks or maybe like in between events, kind of like in that space you were saying, they just finish this part, they do the thing, and then, it moves on to that next one, like with 27 parts, where we're kind of like in like a new pacing of story, like leading up to Witch Queen, because I think that would be really cool too. It'd be a pretty big surprise.
Yeah, that's what I'm really happy that Bungie is playing their cards, like, really close this season. which I think is really great because, funny enough, I found this out the other day. There is an unreleased entry from Truth to Power, which is really funny because, that entry does not show up in game because it is not intended for us. It's intended for the data miners who, like, ripped the Truth to Power, like, before it was supposed to be, and, like, posted it. And this entry is meant for them. And it's really funny because it basically says we're gonna screw up all your loot drops and you're not gonna get anything you want ever again. All that good loot, gone. Puppies, gone. No, I kid. But it's like, it's like really, really, really harsh.
I'm starting to think the if they take away, puppies and everything, and the Guardian in game is just like, huh. It's just gonna, the Guardian is basically a Yakuza game character. Like our only line will be something like, maybe killing puppies is actually badass and worthwhile.
Yeah, but no, it's really funny because it's called Unnamed Entry, and I read it the other day to one of my friend, and it's like, like whoever wrote it was Seth Dickinson is the one who wrote it. He's the author of the Truth to Power, and he wrote this, and he's like, it's technically canon, but it's not intended for you guys. Yeah, it's specifically intended to target data miners that had uncovered the previous lore entries through the game's API prior to the intended release. So basically, kind of what happened with that. And now that they've learned from that, they've learned from their mistakes, which I think is really good. Because like with this big entry that we don't know what it's about, we don't know anything. They're like, no, you don't get to see. I'm worried. I'm really worried that the moment the first one comes out, all of it comes out. But I'm hoping that they'll do it like one a week.
Yeah, like maybe one or two a week or something.
However,
they've got enough time.
However you earn it.
I would totally love to come back and have, even if they're just audio, like little tidbits from the different characters. I think that would be a really cool way to go about how you like unlock this like massive entry. Because I mean, who knows? Maybe that's what Crow's doing on Venus.
Maybe. I'm hoping that Crow at least makes an appearance, like maybe at the end of the season, or at least shows up.
Ooh, yeah.
I hope we get at least a lore entry from Eris, too. Maybe that's what this book is. This book is every Eris' perspective as she's just glaring at everyone, saying, you all are idiots. You all are idiots.
Ooh, from the moon?
The fools. Yes. I mean, like, the writers at Bungie did say, like, confirm that there's... Not that there's a reason why... I mean, kinda that there's a reason. It's just they didn't want there to be too many characters at once this season. Because, like, okay... It's Savathun. Savathun was pretending to be Osiris. Osiris mentored Crow. That's two people. Osiris's partner is Saint, so Saint's there. Okay. Savathun is in the Dreaming City, so that means it's Mara and Petra. That's already 5 people. Oh, Osiris also mentored Ikora. That's 6. That's already 6 people. And then if you add in Eris too, that's now a full raid fire team plus 1. That's a lot of different characters to juggle, and not only it's just like voice actors to all schedule and everything. I mean, I know with COVID it's easier, but not really.
Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of people have
home
have multiple roles that they do too. Like some of them aren't just voice actors. So
yeah, I'm just saying, like, while it does sadden me that Eris doesn't have a big role this season, I wish that she did.
Right.
But my hope is that she'll get, like, at least some mention of it, during Witch Queen. If she doesn't have a big presence in Witch Queen, I'm gonna be mad, because we're killing Savathun. That's, like, her arch nemesis. She literally wrote an entry in Regarding Stasis where she's like, Dear Savathun, we're coming to kick your ass. is basically what it
Well,
was.
I have to say one thing we didn't consider in our episode last week was that Savathun is the character they're talking about, and it's all just like a tongue-in-cheek joke.
Yeah, I realized like after we recorded that episode, I did some more thinking, and I'm like, well, it could just be referring to Savathun, but
Yeah,
it's kind of
it's
like
like
too
so
obvious.
on the nose we didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
so on
too
the
obvious
nose, we're
for us
just
to see.
like, oopsies.
That's how
Yeah,
they get us.
that
That's how they
might
get us.
be.
One thing that I think would be just a note about Eris though too is if you look at her story progression, yes, she helped with Oryx, right? When he showed up and she was a big part of that story, and that
Yeah,
that was Crota's father. I think that with those events and Crota's daughter on the moon
Ashladoon.
and Hashladun, yeah, and her like renewed focus in the darkness, I feel like she may have kind of graduated from just the hive.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm still maybe. I guess is kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of like, I mean, that's kind
Yeah.
of always been her thing. I mean, yes, she is now kind of this weird studying the darkness, preventing the darkness on the moon,
Hmm.
but I still think like at her core, she really, 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 really hates the hive. Like she wants them gone. Like deleted.
Yeah.
RM
I always
like
I always wonder maybe it's like this just reminds me of 80s movies. I don't know why my mind's going to that title, but bear with me. It's like yeah. It's like it's like your death wish or like hear me out here. This this person suffered a loss because this guy had a gun, or like Batman is maybe another great example.
yeah.
And so like she's graduated from like the people who did it, she got her revenge on them. Now she's going after like the people who armed them and have been distributing this like dark market of darkness.
Yeah, no, no, no. I get what you're saying. It's just I don't know. I feel like that's like, especially ever since I wouldn't say since she's come back, but kind of since she's come back in Destiny 2 at least, she has had a like hatred of Savathun, like absolute hatred.
Oh yeah, there's no love lost between these two contenders.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if she's, I guess, how do I
Like
word
she
it?
has a vendetta.
Yeah, I mean, like she definitely does. I feel like Eris does have a vendetta against that. She hates the hive, hates them, hates them, hates them. But however, I I don't know. I guess I'm not
Right?
convinced that Eris has graduated from her like immense hatred of the hive. I think she still hates them.
Ooh. I would agree with that. I guess
I'm
I
gonna.
guess if I had to think about it, it's just maybe it's like a bomb logic move because if she takes out the darkness, then the worms don't work.
True, true. I guess you could be playing the big game. But yeah, basically,
Yeah.
uh, what's really funny is, like in Eris's letter to the Witch Queen in the regarding stasis, lore book,
Mm.
she, she literally says to Savathun, I am coming for you. I will be your end. As your elders
Oh
before
yeah.
you and your prodigy after you will fall, all that surrounds you crumbles. Eris Morn will stand in front of you, smiling as I wipe your name
Hmm.
from the pantheon of gods. Like,
That was when did that come out? I
this came out in
remember it.
Beyond Light.
Okay. Okay,
This is
yeah, so
pretty
that's like a recent
recent.
one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Oh man, that's a very good point. I can't really argue with that.
yeah, she's really really I'm curious. I hope, like I said, with Witch Queen, we get some like Eris's take on what's going on at least right now, because I think she would have some choice words for Mara, being like, you're trying to out manipulate the Kive goddess of trickery, and I don't know about that, Chief. Like, I mean, obviously, us, the player, we know that whatever Mara has planned doesn't work. Because, well, Savathun
I
is the
hear
main
you.
antagonist of Witch Queen. So,
I hear you. Okay. Okay, I could go on and on and on and on.
yes, we could.
Um, but what we're actually here for this week, guys.
We promise we're not just gonna randomly talk about Destiny. I mean, we normally talk about Destiny, don't get me wrong.
I mean,
But
we
this
might,
week,
we might. There might be some overlap.
maybe, just a little bit.
Because tonight we're talking about Halo
Heck yeah.
in this special episode.
Special episode. We figured with Halo Infinite on the horizon, it'd be cool to
Ooh yeah.
talk about Halo. I love Halo. Halo was like the first game that I ever played growing up. Like that was like the first video game. Was the Halo series. It was fun
I can dig it.
because I remember my dad had it on his. He had like a work laptop. It was like old. This was like back when I was littler. I think this was even before my brother was born. So a while
Ooh.
ago. And I remember my dad would play the first Halo, so Halo Combat Evolved, on his laptop. I remember sitting there watching him as he would, kill the Flood and the Covenant, and I distinctly
Mhm.
remember, like, I would look at the things and I would try to draw, like, little stick figure pictures of the enemies and stuff, and I always thought the Flood was
That's
super
awesome.
scary. And then eventually when we got an Xbox, my uncle ended up saying, "Here, I have all of these the Halo games. So here, have them." So he gave that to my dad. My dad would go through and play them, and I would just kind of play them along with him, or attempt to play by myself and fail utterly because, I wasn't that good at games back then. Now I'm a true gamer. I digest. But yeah,
She is ascendant.
I have ascended. I am now a gamer. No. But yeah, no, because like I think out of all of the Halos, the one that I remember the best or the most fondly is Halo Reach. I liked Reach. Reach was good.
Your favorite was Reach?
Yeah, my favorite was probably Reach.
I came into the series a little differently. I kind of have like some memories of back when I was in high school
Oh wow.
and I was over at my friend's house. Well, I don't know how long ago this is in relation to when the game came out, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But I was over there and I was playing, like, I had never, like, this is Destiny, as many like you and like listeners might know. Destiny was like my big, like, first like real like push into a first person shooter, just because like growing up, no matter what the platform, I would be playing with my older brothers, and like it was just a like I never got a lot of time with the sticks, never really developed those skills. Good way to like sum it up there.
Yeah.
So this was like one of like the first times I'd ever played it though. So I'm over at his house and he's like, "You've never played Halo?" I was like, "Well, no, I guess I've like never really been into first person shooters, but I was also a PlayStation guy." So I was like, "Yeah,
I see.
I don't even have an Xbox." So like, ooh, like me and my PlayStation 2 were very happy with each other. But it was, I still had it.
That's crazy.
But the long and short of it is we played it. I think when I was like senior, played like that one and the second one, like back to back is
oh
what they
wow,
happened to
that's
have.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I remember playing that, and then I think we also played ODST because that was the only one I think I was actually good at because of how cautious I would play.
Ah, yeah, no, that makes sense. ODST is really good. I like it.
Yeah.
I
I
like
think
those
ODST
little.
was my favorite of the bunch.
That's awesome.
Even when I went back, yeah, even when I went back and replayed the Master Chief Collection, which I replayed all the way up, I got to 4 and I haven't really played 4 yet.
I like 4.
Um,
I like it.
but I
I
need
think
to,
it's
yeah, I just need to play it. I think I was
yeah,
just burned out. I think I'd played like
yeah,
3 of them back to back or something.
yeah. That's what yeah, because my Kelsey and I we decided to do it because we're insane. This was like I think a year ago. We went through the Master Chief Collection and played every single Halo game on there
Oh,
on the hardest
jeez.
difficulty because we're insane. It was
Yeah.
fun. We did it. We did every single one. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, Reach, and ODST, all on the hardest difficulty. It was fun. And now in Halo 5, I have the cool Helioscrill armor. You can only get that armor from doing that, which I think that's cool. I hope they bring that kind of a thing into Infinite, because like, I mean, they've done it with 5. They can probably do the same thing with Infinite, being like, oh, you've done this, check, 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 okay, but bam, get cool stuff. Like, I love that kind of stuff, like rewarding the player for doing this really hard thing with a super cool thing. Like, that's why I'm hoping that Bungie, with the legendary campaign, we get like something cool, something we can show off and be like, look, like I want something that like when you go in the tower and you see a person with that, you're like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. They're a certified badass. But yeah, that's basically. Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah. Did
I
you
can dig
play
it.
the test flight at all?
No, I didn't get a chance to. We ended up doing this past weekend. I know you had told me about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up doing all of my editing on Saturday because we went
Ah, I
to
see.
the Renaissance Festival
Oh, that's
in
right. That's right. You
in
talked
Maryland
about.
for Kari's sort of like Kari's like birthday. We did that, and then we went and saw Rodrigo and Gabriella last night,
Oh,
which was amazing. If you haven't heard of them guys, just check them out. Like
that's
totally,
awesome.
I am not. Yeah, yeah, definitely check them out. They are even more amazing live. So yeah,
Okay.
that
Well, yeah.
I did not get a chance to do the test flight, but I want to say before we get too far away from it, when I started playing Master Chief Collection, I started in story order, so I was playing Reach first.
Ah.
Um, and I didn't like the story was foggy, but it was so like everyone's like Reach is the best one. And I just remember like it what I'm not saying any parts of it were bad. It was very short for my taste. In a campaign, but it was like some of the stuff was just like a little silly to me. It's like I've only known this character for like an hour and a half, but they're already like sacrificing themselves for me. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
guy whose name I haven't memorized yet.
Yeah.
Oh
No. No,
no.
I definitely get that. Like, if especially, um, I guess for me, the first time I played it, I think I was in like middle school. Yeah, I was in like middle school when Reach came out. I think I want to say I started playing it around then. That sounds about right. Um, but yeah, no, I would always play it on like harder. Not saying that you played it easy and you did it wrong, but I guess it took longer for me to play the game. Not necessarily that I'm like bad or I did it on like a harder difficulty or whatever, but
Mhm.
I guess if you just
I
kind of,
just
I
played
would
on
say like,
normal.
yeah, I guess I wouldn't. I'm not saying that you did it wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you did it wrong. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Sorry,
fine. It's
senpai.
fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. I guess for me, it's kind of like going into Reach, not really knowing that. Well, I guess I can't really say spoiler alert because this game's been out for like 10 years. Really long time. Everyone fucking dies except Jun. Jun's the Chad. He doesn't die. He's cool. Just like how I always felt bad because I'm like, oh, these guys are cool. They're Spartans. They're badasses. We don't like when you're playing the
And
Master
they're
Chief.
murdered.
Like when you're playing the Master Chief Collection, you're Master Chief. There's only one Master Chief. You don't have like a squad. You don't have Blue Team with you or anything. Like, it's just you. You're alone, kicking ass. But like with Reach, that I really liked is it was like you're a squad of Spartans. Like that's how Spartans kind of are supposed to be. They have a team most of the time. I say most of the time because basically I could go really in depth and explain all of the Spartan lore, but TLDR, of the Spartan like Spartan 2s for example, and this was mainly with Spartan 3s. The Spartan 3s, for example, they would make a batch of them, so they would have Spartan A, like the A batch, the Alpha batch, and they would look at their results and be like, all right, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Like, they would hand pick a bunch of the different Spartans that were, like, good. Not good, but, like, better. Like, the best. And they would be pulled out of that and put on teams. So that's why you have, like, Carter. Carter is part of the A batch, because his name is A. Because they all have their little, like, the little call signs. And his is A. He has his A in it, which means he's part of the first batch. And so forth. And the ones that didn't get picked, they would be sent on suicide missions. And they would all die. Well, most of them. But like 90% of them, they would all die.
I've watched some of the Halo universe, like, animated stuff, too, and I'm always wondering, I don't think I saw one in that either, though, but I'm wondering if there's any, like, example in the extended universe where someone was selected to basically go on one of those suicide missions, kind of like their namesake, the lore that we have, a lot of the mythology around who the Spartans were as people.
Yeah.
Setting them up to die and like they come back, like, whoa,
you weren't supposed to make it this far. Well, yeah, I think there might be. I'm not too. I know there's like some, like very like it was like a 90% fatality rate for like one operation and like a 95%. Like most of them die, and you have to remember, they're like children. That's what a lot of people forget. Is Spartans, when they start out, at least with the Spartan 2s, they abducted children. Same thing they did with Spartan 3s, but it was a little bit more nuanced. Like with Spartan 2s, Spartan 2s, what they did is they would find kids, like, for example, Master Chief, John, the guy, the Halo. No, I'm kidding. One of my friends, they jokingly call Master Chief the Halo guy. No, his name is Master Chief. Like, oh, it's Halo. I'm like, no, his name is Master Chief. I digress. They're just messing with me, though. But with John, basically what they would do is they would pick the kid, and they would replace the kid with the Flash clone. Now, cloning in Halo is seen as a big no-no. I mean, Flash cloning is, you do that for, like, medical stuff. Because Flash clones, they live and then they die. Like, they would Flash clone someone's organs so that you can get, oh, you got shot in the lung? Oh, here. Boop, 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 bam. There you go. You're fixed. Like,
that makes sense.
It's really frowned upon, and especially that they did it to kids. They Flash cloned a whole kid, and then the kid would die. Because, it's a Flash clone. But the parents wouldn't realize it's a Flash clone until, well, I think there was like literally one case of the parent realizing, and then they end up hijacking a cruiser and trying to go find their kid. It's really crazy. Like, there's some really crazy stuff in, like, with that kind of stuff. With Spartan 3s, at least like in the lore, they were orphans whose parents got killed, like, in the Covenant battles and that kind of stuff. So they were basically orphans. So they're like, oh, look, the UNS, the ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence, is helping these kids. They're really not. They're indoctrinating them and making them crazy. I won't say crazy, but they're kind of psychotic, crazy. Kind of crazy. Like,
It sounds like they did the Star Wars thing. They started off with clones, and then they moved on to orphans.
Well, yeah, well, they didn't...
Like the stormtroopers?
Yeah, kind of like the stormtroopers, but, like, I wouldn't say Yeah, like... Because, I mean, it became public knowledge later on that these Spartans were, kidnapping children and that sort of thing, and Dr. Halsey, who is the lead, like, she was the head, like, basically the head person for the Spartan program, she got under a lot of flack and broke a lot of laws and rules. Like, you're not, like, obviously you're kidnapping children, that's bad, don't do that. And, but she directly violated, like, some, like, convention, not like the Geneva Conventions, but there's, like, a lot of these laws that Halsey broke. But what she did with the Spartan program saved the human race in the Halo universe. Like, if the Spartans didn't exist, humanity would have not stood a chance against the Covenant at all. They would have all died. All of them. Goodbye. Adios. So, like, what Halsey did was terrible. Yes, she kidnapped children. She injected them with, like, all these kind of super soldier drugs that would make them super strong and give them power armor and train them until they're, like, hyper lethal and crazy. But if she hadn't done that, everyone would have died. And what's really interesting is Halsey definitely likes to twist the narrative in her favor, because the Spartans, they weren't created to fight the Covenant. That wasn't their main purpose. Their main purpose was to quell the insurrection that was happening in the outer colonies. Because basically the outer colonies wanted independence from the rest of the inner colonies, because basically the inner colonies, that's, like, better than the outer colonies. Similar with Star Wars, how you have the Outer Rim, and that's kind of like the more lawless. I wouldn't say in Halo it's similar, but it's very... You have, like, the core world, and then you have the outer worlds, the outer colonies, and these outer colonies would, like, supply resources and stuff to the inner colonies, but they wouldn't really help the other way. Like, help wouldn't really come to them that much. So they got mad, and the insurrection started happening, and the UNSC and the ONI kind of came together and, like, alright, we need to make these super soldiers to quell the insurrection. And then the Covenant showed up and said, surprise, we have plasma weapons and we're gonna kill everyone because our religious leaders told us you're bad. But really they're not. It's kind of funny, I think. It's all because the prophets. So those are the guys in the floating chairs that are the leaders of the Covenant. Those guys, they knew that humanity is, like, the Forerunners are basically... Let me back up. Let me back up. I have to go way, way, way back. So back in time. To the beginning. Basically, this episode is going to be LadyLucida Explains Halo. Because I know the lore. Kinda. Like, 75%. So basically, here's the gist. The Forerunners, they were big and they were strong. They were, like, the ruling of the galaxy. I wouldn't say... actually, you need to cut this last part. I totally misspoke. It's not the Forerunners, it was the Precursors. The Precursors, they were in charge of the galaxy. The Precursors. And they were like, we're tired of this shit. We have this key. It's not really a key. Basically, this job title. It's called the Mantle of Responsibility. If you have this means you get to use all our cool stuff. But this means you have to take care of the galaxy. Take care of it. And the Forerunners, they were big head honchos. They're like, it's gonna be us, right? It's gonna be us, right? But here's the crazy part. Humanity, was spacefaring at this time. This was way, way back. Way back. Ancient times. Before that. This is where it gets really trippy. So humanity also was really big, and the Precursors were like, no, Forerunners, you know what? No, not you. Humanity, they're cooler. I like them. They get the key. They get the key to the White House. You know, we like them. Forerunners were like, excuse me? What? No. That's not how this works, bro. Us, we're number one. Humanity, they suck. They're the worst. Screw them. So, the Forerunners fight and kill off all the precursors. Well, almost all of them, except for like a few. And then, this is the trippy part, the precursors, as their like last dying, they basically die. And then what happens then next is really weird, because the precursors become the Flood, as to get revenge on the Forerunners. And now, so humanity is like they're spacefaring, and the Forerunners are spacefaring, and now they're fighting. And the reason they're fighting is because humanity is running away from something. And they're burning whole Forerunner planets. And the Forerunners are like, yo, why are you burning our stuff, bro? This is our house. Why are you taking a flamethrower to our house? And humanity's like, you're not, like, there was miscommunication, because the Forerunners thought the humans were fighting them, when the reality is humanity was trying to kill the Flood. And the Flood purposefully was not attacking humanity because it wanted the Forerunners to think humanity had a cure when they didn't. They got debated. And then the Forerunners created this AI called Mendiant Bias to fight the Flood. Because they're just like, oh shit, this is bad. We need to fight these things. Because no matter what you throw at the Flood, if you throw people at it, they're just going to infect the people. And that's bad. So they made this AI called Mendiant Bias to fight the Flood, and it actually ends up getting infected by the Flood. Now you might be asking, how the fuck does an AI get infected by a biomass organism? It basically, a grave mine, which is the big, ugly, tentacle-looking thing you see in Halo 2 and 3, that thing basically had a nice chit-chat with it, and then it was like, you know what, you're making a lot of sense. So it joined the bad guys. So then the Forerunners made another AI to fight that AI, and it's like, you would have thought, maybe don't make the same mistake twice? Maybe? No? Forerunners, you're stupid? So then basically, here's how it all ends, is the Forerunners were like, we can do this thing, we can use the Halo rings, because they made them as like, okay, we need to figure out something to kill the Flood. We can either A, use the Halo rings. This was one idea. The other idea was the Shield World, which is like Requiem, which is where you go in Halo 4. And everyone thought the Halo rings were the better idea, so they built the Halo rings. And then they fired them all off. Killed everything in the whole galaxy. Don't be thinking, but there's obviously life now, so something had to have happened. The Forerunners are really smart. Oh, I forgot, there was one key point I forgot to mention. Whoopsies. After the Forerunners killed all the precursors and fought humanity for a bit, they knocked humanity back to the Stone Age. Because they're like, no, we get the mantle, you go back to the Stone Age. So humanity at this point is back like cavemen. Just forgot that part. Whoopsies. Anyways, so they fire off the Halo rings, everything dies, and then there's a particular group of Forerunners. They're called the Builders. They basically, before the Halo rings went off, they went and cataloged every single life in the galaxy and repopulated everything. Like, they look like little genetic samples of DNA and put it in their big libraries that wouldn't get hit or didn't die. And then they would go through and repopulate. Oh, there's Earth. There's the Sangheli homeworld. Oh, here's this and that. So now they thought the Flood was dead, and now everything can be fine. And then they were wrong, because the Flood was still there. And then
The Flood was not dead.
The Flood was not dead.
Cake was alive.
Well, a lot of what happens in, like, the Halo games is what happens is, like, especially with Halo 1. they're on the Halo ring. And the Halo rings were also designed as like research outposts to study the Flood. And then something would happen, like what happened in Halo 1, or Combat Evolved, I just call it Halo 1. In Combat Evolved, where, you know, the containment is breached, Flood escapes, and then just eats everything. That's basically how the Flood came back, because they would have like these containment things that got broken. The Flood would be like, I'm hungry, and then eat everything. Like, the Flood scares me, man. Nightmare fuel. Sorry for that very long-winded talk, but that's basically the lore of
that's
Halo
all good.
in a nutshell.
Of the first one. You know, I what I really liked about the first game, especially, is that sort of build up and realization as to like what's even going on with the Flood.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, you don't really know what's going on, and then I remember you would like watch the perspective of the Marine, and then they would just all come out and eat everybody, and it was terrifying. I remember watching that part when I was little, and I was like, what? Get those away from me, the little crawly ones.
Yeah. Oh god, I hated those because they were always in weird spots on the wall too.
Oh yeah, definitely. It very much reminds me of the mini Screeps from this week's Grandmaster Nightfall.
Huh.
They crawl on walls, they crawl on ceilings, they crawl on anything. They will hunt you down. It's terrifying.
I haven't seen a mini Screeb yet. I've only seen the memes.
Don't do it. I honestly prefer doing the grand, like, we got it done last night because we're crazy. After many different attempts and different loadouts and different like class compositions, we got it. But basically, like, I see a regular Screeb coming at me now, and I'm like, oh, it's a Screeb. I don't care. I see a mini Screeb, and I'm like, oh god, because those things will one-shot you. No matter what resilience you're running, whether you're running arc resist, concussive damper, it does not matter. They will hunt you down, and if they are near you, when they go boom, you're dead.
They have that face hugger quality about them.
Pretty much. And they also will sometimes go through floors, which is really bad. But hopefully Bungie is aware of that, or at least they have like now. Because a lot of streamers were like, hey, Bungie, I don't think this is intended. And they're like, oh, yes, can you send us some, like, videos of that? Not that we don't believe you. It's just so we can, like, look at it and be like, huh, that's weird. But yeah, no.
Huh.
What a lot of people are saying is that the mini Screeps are using the same code. Basically, people are saying, you know Colony, right? The grenade launcher with the little crawly grenades that follow you, and they climb up walls and
the ants, the ant grenade
the
guys.
little ant grenades. Yeah, people are saying it's basically what they did is they took a Screeb, warped it so it's really small, and then slapped it on a Colony thing because it acts the exact same way.
Ooh.
So now I'm in that boat of like, hey Bungie, can you give us a Colony like ornament that shoots mini Screeps? Please? That would be hilarious. I would never take that off. I just think it would be funny. It'd be nightmare fuel.
It'd be
nightmare
cool.
fuel. Just think about going in the Crucible and then you hear the little crawlies of the mini Screeps. Oh my god. Like, because we did the Grandmaster so many times, just like, and we would get through it fine, just the boss room was so hectic because there's no cover, and the boss has immunity phases, and every so often there's waves upon waves upon waves upon waves of ads, and every time you shoot a raider, they spawn a mini Screep, and if they get you, you're dead. Yeah, we finally got it. It was a mess. I'm glad that strike is being sent into the sunset. The sun. Send it to the sun. I don't want to do that strike ever again. I hate it.
It's coming at you.
No.
It's coming.
No, please, not the miniature Screebs. I see the miniature Screebs in my dreams.
That's what the shank with the with the tray.
He's gonna bring me a mini screeb
instead
of
screeb.
a glass of...
Yeah, in like a cocktail
The
glass.
mini screeb is like, hello! And then I'm like, well, I'm dead. Then Guardian down.
End of emo.
Guardian down. Oh, that'd be funny. But yeah,
oh, that's funny.
No,
I would love that. If you could have an emote that just to like to kill yourself.
That would be
with.
funny. I'll definitely make when we do the Gorgon Maze and Vogue a lot easier. Oh, I don't have a rocket, or I don't have any heavy ammo to kill myself. Oh no.
Have to be like
exactly.
Taylor.
I wasn't gonna say that was you, but
jump up and down with a
grenade
launcher.
That's so funny. I always spectate you and be like, what are you? Why are you? What are you? What? Just go find a corner, shoot the grenade at your feet, and then let go, and then you die. Mm-hmm. I guess it really depends on the grenade launcher too.
Yeah, it doesn't. It bounces.
Yeah,
because I
Fighting Lion. That's right.
I had to use Fighting Lion because it's
Infinite
the only one
ammo.
with
You're
primary
right,
ammo.
You're right. I forgot.
Yeah. I was out of the ammo, so I had to shoot it at my feet, but time my jump in just the right way that like I met it when it exploded. I got pretty good at it.
You're now an expert at jumping into the
bouncy grenade.
Yeah,
off the floor. It's a party
trick. That's nice. That's nice. But yeah, I'm really excited for Halo Infinite though. Like very excited. Like I've played the past 2 flights, and oh man, big team battle. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. Like, that was what I used to play with my brother all the time, was just big team battle. And it was fun. And I really like the new armor abilities, so to speak, like the grapple hook. Like, when I first saw that in the trailer, or the gameplay that they showed off a while ago, where they showed the grappling hook, I was like, that's not Halo-ish. That seems like more...
Reminded me of Titanfall.
It's very similar to Titanfall. And I was like, that's more of a Titanfall thing, not a Halo thing. That's weird. I don't know about that. But now that I've like played it and used it, no, the grappling hook is so fun. You can get... Like, there was one time where I used my little AI to hack a door. This was in Big Team Battle. And once my AI was done, inside the room was a sniper rifle. And I'm like, okay. So I grab a sniper rifle, I go up the stairs, and up the stairs is the grappling hook armor ability. I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I grab that, and then I grapple up really, really high on the map, and then I just go, snipe. It was so cool. And my little AI was like, you're doing so good. And I'm like, thank you. I needed that. Thank you. It's so great. I'm just really excited. Because, it's... The level of customization we're getting is ridiculous. I've seen, like, all of the different stuff. We have, like, you know, obviously your normal stuff like helmet, shoulders, chest plate, knees, arms, fists. Like, you can customize, like, your glove. Like, your fist glove. Like, what that looks like in your forearm and everything. It's crazy. I'm intrigued, I guess, to see, because the first season is Reach-themed. I'm curious to see how much they're bringing back from Reach. I know they're not going to bring back all of it, but I'm curious to see which, like, how do they pick which ones to bring back? Because it's always hard, because someone's going to get left out. So I hope that they eventually will bring back everything at some point, because I think because I've seen like some images of, I guess you could call them leaks of the customized. Like for me, if it's a customization thing, I'm cool knowing, but story, no, nada, zip, zilch. I don't want to know anything. I want to go in blind. But like customization, I'm fine, like being spoiled, because I'm gonna see it regardless. But like story, you can only experience the story once. Like after that, you're just replaying. I mean, like it's the same kind of thing, I guess. But basically, the amount of customization we're getting is insane. We're getting helmet effects, death effects, gun charms. Like, okay, that's a lot. Also, you can customize your AI too. Like, you can choose who the voice is of your AI, which is really cool. And they talk in multiplayer matches. Taylor, do you want to know who one of the AIs is?
Oh, wow.
Do you want to know?
Yes,
one
I
of
do.
the
Yes, I do.
AIs is the superintendent from ODST. Like, he'll be your AI and talk to you.
Nice. Oh,
Which is
that's
really
funny.
cool. Like, I'm really excited. I hope that eventually, at some point, they add...
Yeah, I gotta hear all the different
Yeah.
AIs and pick the one that's
Yeah, no,
for
they're
me.
like really, really cute. Like, the one that I have was the ball one, because it just looked so cute, and they're just so cute. I love it. They're very, like, happy and chipper, and I'm like, I need that in my life to offset the me. But no, there's
very
yeah,
fail-safe
fail-safe.
combination.
There's the ball, which was really like chipper and happy. Then there was the square, the rectangle, and that one's basically British. Kind of reminds me of Lord Shaxx, honestly. And then there was the pyramid,
Okay.
and he was like a really awkward, nerdy, kind of nervous guy. I thought he was funny too. Then there was
Okay.
Lumi, and that's the egg,
Okay.
which looks like an egg, like the little shape of it. And she's very
Okay.
I would say more fail-safey, like the more, like, you know, fail-safe has her depressed voice, and then her chipper voice. So they took fail-safe and they
Yeah.
split her in half. So one's her like kind of depressed, kind of, hello, how are you? And they have another one that's like, hi, how are you? Like, you know, same, like that
love
kind of
it.
thing. And then superintendent is one of them. It's in, like, the Battle Pass. And I really like Halo's Battle Pass. I hope other companies do the same thing once Halo Infinite comes out. Because what Halo Infinite is doing, once you buy a Season Pass or whatever, you have it forever and ever and ever and ever. And let's say, you know, you only play a little bit during Season 1, and then Season 2 comes out. But you don't like Season 2 stuff. You want to keep working on Season 1. You can do that. Which, like, I think that'd be really cool for, like, Destiny. Because there are people who, you know, bought a season, or got a season, and then, like, you know, real life happened. They couldn't play as much. They didn't get to Season Pass like 100 and get the ornaments. Because basically how it works is when you level up, they do this in the Master Chief Collection too, where you level up and you get a Season Pass point. And you can put it in, you know, Season 1, 2, 3, all the way through the current season. Which I really like. I hope that Bungie does that. And other companies too. Like, I know people that were petitioning Apex, the people who make Apex, to do a similar thing. So, yeah,
Respawn?
I couldn't think of them. EA, Respawn, those people. To kind of start doing a similar thing. Like, that's what I'm always excited for. Is, like, you know, I wouldn't say competition, but healthy competition between, because, like, Destiny came out and other companies have tried to replicate the Destiny style, but nothing's ever, like, nailed it. What I'm really curious to see is how PvP in Destiny will change when Halo Infinite comes out. Because I think a lot of people are going to swap back to Halo. Because a lot of people, they went to Halo, then Destiny came out. And there hasn't really been any really good Halo game, like, multiplayer. Good multiplayer when Destiny's been a thing. And now, I know a lot of my friends are basically gonna not really touch PvP anymore once it's out in Destiny. And play Halo. Because with Halo, it's a lot more consistent. Like, if you have a battle rifle, and I have the same battle rifle, or the same gun, it's gonna act the same way. It's not like, oh, my battle rifle has more range than your battle rifle. That's what it's really tricky with Destiny, because there's random rolls. That's why I think personally,
For sure.
Destiny can never be a truly, like, competitive, like, esports type of game, because there's too many variables. There's class, there's your ability regen, there's your weapons. Like, everything is randomized, so to speak, that
Yeah.
for there to be an esports presence for Destiny, they would have to, at least in the esports part, I just don't think it really works. Because, like, with Halo, for example, there's, like, weapons on the map, and that kind of a thing, and you can be like, oh, I'm good at sniping, I'm gonna go grab that sniper and get, like, you know, a headshot, like, all kinds of crazy things that people do. But, like, with Destiny, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder, I think. I think maybe if they, like, with Trials is getting there. Trials is, I think, in a good spot. I just think personally they should, with me personally, with my experience in Trials, I think that Bungie should disable crossplay until they fix. There is a really bad latency thing with playing against PlayStation on Xbox. I'm not saying like, oh, PlayStation sucks. But I'm just saying, like, I have when every single match I would play against PlayStation. I'm not saying we lost, but there would be times where, like, I've even seen videos of, like, my friends, they would be playing against PlayStation, and the PlayStation people, there's like latency issues. And I don't see that at all, or nearly as much, or ever really, on Xbox. It's a PlayStation thing, when you're fighting against PlayStation, and it's really frustrating as an Xbox player, because, you know, I need to carry people in Trials, I need to get to 7 wins. I know they do too, but when they get, like, almost an unfair advantage, where I've been shot through walls while playing, and it's just like, bruh. I know they're not, like, hacking or anything, but it's just like, it's annoying.
Yeah, that's definitely like a latency thing on console, inter-console.
So, like, I kind of wished that, I mean, don't get me wrong, crossplay is great, but I kind of wish it took a little bit more time in the oven, like, maybe not.
Well, with it being peer-to-peer across consoles too, it might be your connection's just elongated between.
Yeah, that's another thing.
However they connect you. So
who knows?
I mean, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Who knows? But it's just a little frustrating because I'm just like, come on. Ugh. It's just annoying, I guess. Like I always check whenever I'm doing Trials. Oh, okay, the team replaced. Guys were fighting our PlayStation. I always call that out because it's like then you're aware that they can.
Doesn't the Stadia one have the same? Because like the other console is just that little controller.
Yeah, the
right?
PlayStation is the controller. Stadia is like the little like S looking.
Yeah, so on PlayStation it's the other way around. PlayStation is the PlayStation icon.
That's so weird.
Or and the Xbox one is the little controller, I guess is what's the other way around.
That's so weird. Why don't they just use the same symbols? Like, I know what a PlayStation looks like. It's the PlayStation logo. Like, that's so weird.
We just don't want it on each other's
platforms.
I think
that might be it. They're just so, like, butthurt, I guess.
You know, I really do like what Bungie's done in Destiny to try and keep that competitive sort of fan base like moderately happy, but I feel like even they've been like, but I mean, it's, you know, the sandbox is incredibly like it is an ongoing effort to balance and what have you. So it's really kind of
tricky.
like
it's definitely tricky.
Yeah, it's not like games with static guns with maybe like a small set of mods or something. Like, so like your Titanfalls, your Halos, like we're talking about tonight. I think it's just going to be it's just a different bag, and you can't have it both ways, right? It's like PvP in Destiny is always going to be lean a little more towards an MMO style fight, like on a big server. Like, no, it's not the exact same thing. There are certain limits that Bungie's going to put on stuff that other games might not. But like, go play an MMO. If there's a PvP server, you're gonna learn real quick the difference
Yeah,
between good and bad
like
weapons.
I've played PvP
Uh,
before in some other
yeah.
MMO games, and it's definitely weird. It's weird. Because like I feel pretty much it's very similar to Destiny, where like you take a gun and you go into PvP, and it pretty much. I mean, the damage numbers might be different, obviously, but like a gun's a gun, a lightsaber's a lightsaber. I play Star Wars Old Republic. That's the other game that I play. That's why I was like, a lightsaber's a lightsaber.
I do.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't really play PvP that much. I'm not like, oh my god, I gotta play PvP, but especially with, like, the spaceship battles one, there's like, okay, you want to be running this. These weapons, these missiles, these abilities, this is what's good. But, yeah, we
still have to play
we
Star
do.
Wars. Yeah, my flight
Heck yeah.
gear.
No,
Sorry,
it's fine,
didn't
it's
mean to
fine.
derail.
But yeah.
The pulling us back around in though, I think Halo's PvP, from what I have experienced, sort of like here and there, just kind of I've popped in a little bit for fun with friends on Master Chief Collection. It's interesting playing the different ones. I'll put it that way. It's the difference between like Halo 1
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
like Reach in the amount of
Oh
stuff you
man.
can do is just like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, like in a Reach there's the armor abilities and this and
Mhm.
that, and then in like Combat Evolved there's a lot less. But yeah, I'm really curious. I hope Firefight returns at some point in Master Chief, not Master Chief Collection, in Halo Infinite. Sorry. Because I always loved Firefight. That's what I would do with my friends. We would all like play Firefight and blow stuff up. I always thought it was fun. But I'm also really excited for Forge to eventually be in Halo Infinite. Because they said it's gonna take 2 seasons, which is 6 months.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And then like what I'm excited for is like how, because with every Forge, it's gotten like, you can do more and more crazy things, which is like, I'm really excited to see like what the community does once they get their hands on on Forge. Like, I've always loved like playing custom maps. Like I remember playing Duck Hunt or Jump Rope or all this other like really crazy stupid games where like all this crazy stuff would happen and it would always be really fun. Like, that's what I miss the most. Is like with Destiny there's no custom game modes. There's no Forge. There's nothing like that. Where like, I think that would definitely keep the PvP community happy if there was a map builder sort of thing. Because like basically what happens with Halo is, people make a map, and then I guess if enough people like it, 343 adds it to this Fiesta playlist.
That's pretty cool.
Which is like just random crazy modes. Like I've had one that was bumper cars. Everyone was on mongooses and you were like bumper cars. And it was like, what is going on? Like really crazy stuff like that. Like I think Destiny could really, I guess, learn. I wouldn't say learn from it, but grow. Because I know that's been a big pain point for Destiny. Has been like lack of PvP maps, lack of new PvP game modes. So I'm just like, Bungie, just let us design some maps. Be like, hey, this is all of the assets and everything for making maps. Have the community make a map, and whichever one Bungie likes the most can be added. I think that would be cool. That would definitely give Bungie and the community something to like kind of work together on. I think that'd be cool. Would Bungie ever actually do that? Probably not. But until they like add in some kind of Forge mode, which I sincerely doubt they would ever do,
Yeah, I don't know if they really. It one thing Halo has going for it that Destiny just doesn't is that with Destiny there's always this article of playing online.
Yeah.
You're always connected to Bungie servers. You have to connect to the game to play it, and you predominantly will play at least parts of it. You can do a lot of stuff solo, but you're always playing with the idea that like you're playing with like someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Uh,
definitely.
Whereas Halo has that standalone game aspect to it.
Offline, like single player
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just, my biggest thing is I just really want, like, a machinima mode, or theater mode. Because I think that would help content creators. That would help, like, the people who make montages? They could, like, elevate what they make to a completely another level of stuff. I'm just thinking just, like, in, like, a general sense. Like, you could also make better funny videos. But yeah, I mean, like, I know why Bungie has even flat out said they don't, it takes development time to make, like, these kind of things, and to give, like, a theater mode for Destiny would be, like, you either get, a new season, or you get theater mode. And while theater mode would make some people happy, it's not like, that's not seasonal content. That wouldn't make everyone else happy. So, like, I understand why. Like, maybe eventually, later down the line, when Bungie has, their new big headquarters built, and they have a lot more people, maybe, possibly, I don't know, they could, but who knows? Who knows? It's wishful thinking, I guess. So far, I'll just have to settle for using, I use Dead Man's Tale as my camera, as weird as this sounds, because it's a very low profile gun and it doesn't have a very large scope. And then whenever I'm recording stuff, I just lower my weapon, which that's the hard part. Bungie, can you just at least...
Waiting randomly?
Yep. You can't get shot, you can't do abilities, you can emo. That's about it. You can jump. That's about it. And it's really, I just wish, because I knew in Halo Reach, if you had pressed, like, down on the D-pad and all these other, like, buttons together, your character would automatically lower the gun. Can they at least just give us that? Because it's obviously some sort of, you're idle for X amount of time, do X animation. It just would be nice if they added a, like, lower weapon. Like, you press these buttons and you lower weapon. That just would be nice, because having to sit and wait 3+ minutes for my Guardian to lower her weapon so I can record a video is very annoying. It's just like little things, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure how long that would take to do. Hopefully it wouldn't take be that difficult. Then again, I don't know how spaghetti-ified Bungie's code is. It probably is very spaghetti-ified. It wouldn't surprise me. Because they couldn't just turn off joining for trials, otherwise you couldn't join anyone, period. So, like, that's not good.
Yeah.
That was during the win trading thing that was happening in trials. I remember DNG was like, we can't just turn off matchmaking for trials, because if we do that, no one gets, not matchmaking, sorry, joining functionality for trials, because if we turn off that, it will turn off joining functionality for literally everything. Which is not what we want. At all. So,
yeah, I feel like people just don't get how
complicated coding.
Yeah, it gets to have everything individually structured like that.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on, like, motion capture stuff. Like, they have to do so much. They have to do the motion capture, then they have to, 3D render this and that and shaders and
Why don't you just do it?
why don't you do like I remember someone posted the motion capture for like God of War and the actual game footage and people were like, "Wow, it's almost like a movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of getting to that point where it's a video game is kind of getting to the like a movie almost now with how like crazy the graphics are and everything."
Oof. Hmm. So okay. Here's one to maybe round it up. What is either your favorite Halo like memory, sort of like in story, or maybe something that had to do like maybe tangentially with the game, so like stuff you did like out of it, or who is your favorite NPC?
So who's my favorite character? Okay, I can start
Yeah.
with that one. I'll answer both of them. My favorite Halo character, I think, yeah, is Cortana. I always liked Cortana.
Okay.
I mean, she's been with us pretty much the entire time. She's like the voice in Chief's head, and I always thought she was super cool. She was always really smart and kind of funny. So I'm like, Cortana's cool. I like her. Favorite Halo memory, I think was trying to think. I've had a lot. I remember one time I was playing Halo. It was one of the Fiesta modes in Master Chief, and we were doing this one mode where like there was like really low gravity, and everyone had gravity hammers. We were all trying to kill each other. And it was so stupid. I couldn't stop laughing because of how, like, you would jump, and then you would fly up, and then you'd do the gravity hammer, and then you'd slam back down. It was just so stupid.
Big
But
slam.
it was just really, really dumb. And I always thought it was really funny. Because I was surprisingly very good at that. That was the only Fiesta game mode in Halo that I was ever good at, was just that. I think that was probably one of my favorite memories, is doing that with my friends. Or another favorite of mine was playing. God, I don't remember which one. They all kind of blur together to me. Was playing. I played through the Halo games with my little brother. That was always fun, doing that. And then I think playing them again on Legendary with Kelsey, my partner, that was a struggle because I suck at video games. I'm kidding, I don't suck that bad. I had to basically this is before Grandmasters were a thing. So I thought like, oh, I just treat it like a Grandmaster. No, Grandmasters weren't a thing back then. So it was kind of hard. It was like my first like real challenging content I've done. Because like Destiny doesn't really have a difficulty. It's just, you do it. Your power level. And I'm always max power because I religiously play that game. So that was really my first real challenge, was doing all of this on, like, which was really fun.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Oh man. Tough one to follow. I think for me, I got, yeah, Cortana's up there too. I think ultimately she's her relationship with
Yeah.
Master Chief is it's kind of similar to the relationship we have a Guardian has with their Ghost. But
Yes, very
I
similar.
I gotta say, like, at least the relationship that we have with our Ghost, theirs seems just so much more intimate. Like they're actually in each other's heads. Um,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's
I
a
agree.
yeah, it's a much like deeper connection, I think, than even displayed in Destiny. So yeah, how could anyone not have a favorite in Cortana? I think aside from her, probably probably Nathan Fillion's character. What was it?
A
Sergeant Buck.
Buck,
Yeah.
Buck. Yeah, Buck is cool. Did you know Buck is actually in Halo
I
Reach?
did. I got his dialogue in Reach.
Oh, you got his dialogue? Nice. Yeah, it's like a chance that his dialogue will pop up during the New Alexandria mission. And I always would do that. Alright, I remember I played ODST before Reach, because that's just how that when Reach came out after. And when Buck said, this is like Reach all over again, I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then I went and played Reach and got his line, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think
So, like,
as much as I really enjoyed ODST, and I really enjoyed being the rookie because you kind of got to like customize yourself a little more. Oh god, and the audio logs in New Mombasa.
Yeah, no, I really liked those. Those were cool.
that whole sort of, it's almost like listening to like a
Story.
radio story. Yeah. Is I'm sure you can find it on YouTube, guys, if you never found them all, but it's that's definitely worth your time and attention to if you don't have the game or like don't have the time to go back and get them all. But it's so much fun. And I think what I also liked about it was how interesting the the map was. It was just like all one map, and you
I always thought it was
like
cool.
backtrack and like go through static areas. It was pretty cool. So yeah. Buck.
I thought that was cool. Buck is cool.
I can't wait
I
to
like
see
Buck.
the super
Buck and then Dare. Dare, she was cool too.
Oh
I
yeah.
liked her. Did you know Buck and Dare, they got married.
I did not, but that's cool.
That's great. Yeah. I think it's cool. They got married at some point between ODST and when he appears in Halo 5.
Yay.
So I'm like, yay, that's good.
Yeah, they were so cute.
I know, they
with
were
her
so
being
great.
like secretly more talented than him, and him knowing it, but just being like, yeah, but like still a dick move.
I'm cool. I'm cool too. Don't forget. Yeah. It's just like it was great. I liked their dynamic. It was really good.
Oh man.
All right.
So yeah, I guys, I know we hit a lot about the story of the first game and some of the differences in the Halo universe compared to some other games. This was a lot of fun to do with you, Lucy. We definitely, maybe we should make this a recurring special episode series. Like we talked about the overall story and really like the build up in the first game. Maybe we can move into the second game next time, and then just whatever we feel like talking about in Halo.
Maybe. We could do a Halo, like a little mini Halo series. The mini series.
I like it.
That'd be cool.
I like it.
Yeah, because like a lot of what I word vomited earlier was like the background, getting context for like the whole Halo universe. Like I didn't even go into the story of the Didact and the Librarian, or the whole elite, the whole Covenant.
There's just so much.
Like there's a lot. There is. It's almost like Destiny.
Yeah, there's so much. We could go on for days. Days, I tell you.
Yes. We could talk for hours, but
not this days. So do you have any shout outs there, Lucy, this week?
Any shout outs? This is gonna sound funny, but shout out to Bungie for vaulting Tangled Shore. I hated that place, and I'm glad it's going.
Tangled Shore.
I hate the
Tangled Shore is one of the few maps that is a circle and is actually like, or at least like a loop. It's not really a circle, and is really good for sparrow racing.
True. You got me there.
Gonna miss it.
But I don't know. I just really don't like the Scorn. I know the Scorn are still gonna be a thing in Savathun's Throne World, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Scorn aren't going anywhere.
No, what if the raid is Scorn? Oh god. What if they use the mini screens in the raid?
I would love to see like a little scene where there's like a Taken Fallen and a Scorn, and like maybe they knew each other before. Like, oh yeah, so this is how you did the darkness, huh? Yeah, no, I'm interning with the Scorn and the Barons.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, it's been weird.
That would be
There's a lot of voices in my head, but it's
there's voices in my head.
It's been, oh, you got voices too. They gave you a knife. Okay. Yeah, I noticed you can't talk anymore because you just have like this glowy circle thing but that's cool.
Lily, that's cool. That's cool. You do you, man. Yeah, definitely. I'm just curious because, like, in the press release, they had Scorn in one of the pictures, so I'm like, oh, enhance. That is indeed a Scorn.
Yeah,
oh
Scorn
no,
aren't going anywhere. I still want some of the because not all of House Salvation defected. It's just the ones who didn't want to like go through with stuff who did. So House Salvation is still out there.
And Aramis isn't dead.
I know. She's just
she's just
waiting to solve the icing problem. Once she does that, we're all in trouble. Once she solves the icing problem, she's gonna come back, and then we're gonna have the icing problem. I could talk about this all day, guys.
Alrighty. Do you have any shout-outs then, Taylor?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Chloe, one of our followers at Blunderheart on Twitter. She pointed out an editing flub that I did by having our outro as the intro on this past episode. So it's been fixed now. But Chloe, like, shout out to you. Thank you very much for letting me know. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Oh. Yeah, so that's mine. that's mine this week. With that, guys, stay dressed temperately.
No, I'm gonna go out in the snow in a tank top and shorts and flip-flops. No, I'm kidding. There's no snow.
I mean, if that's what's comfortable for you, like, be a polar bear. You can do it. I won't. That's comfortable for you. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. Yeah, you know, stay temperate, stay comfortable, guys. Hydrate. Don't sweat the vaulting of stuff too much if it's upsetting you. You know, we've had a good 3 years plus to play
had
the
a good
content.
run.
Yeah, and it you know, vaulting is a cyclical thing, so it will come back.
Yeah,
things come out of the vault too.
Yeah, my guess is what a lot of Bungie is doing is taking the pre-Beyond Light stuff and making it as compressed as humanly possible, like as with that kind of stuff, and then eventually at some point putting it back in. That's my hope, at least.
Well, I mean, we gotta consider, and like, I know there's some people out there right now saying like, so there's gonna be new lights who've never met Cade. But I mean, like, there already are the current new lights.
Yeah.
The Ghost says you've never met Cade in their campaign. It says there used to be a Hunter Vanguard. His name was Cade.
Yeah.
He died.
He's dead. He's dead now. Whoopsies.
So like, if you're a new light, but then I guess, you know, to your point earlier, Lucy, about then you go back and
then you go in and meet
He's
Cade,
there.
and then he dies, and you're just like, oh.
He dies on that mission, like, immediately.
You're like,
oh, that's how he died.
You're like, oh, this is how he died. Yeah, so I'm kind of fine with Forsaken getting sunset, because then it kind of, you knew Cade, like us, or you knew, like, the legend of Cade 6, sort of. You knew that he died, you don't really know what's going on, and then you meet this new guy named Crow, and you're like, oh, he seems kind of nice, and then, especially with what's happening this season, oh man, poor guy. Just want to give him a hug.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hope we get to go hang out with him, even if we don't do more stuff with Savathun immediately. So I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and I'm interesting to see how Bungie handles it going forward, because it can't just be all events. I feel like that people would just be like, and I'm done.
Pretty
like,
much.
I'm just waiting now. So I'm happy to see how they do it. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us this week. Can't wait to see you next week. And until then, bye-bye.
Doodles! That's off, Guardians. That's it for this week's discussion. Have any questions or comments about this episode? You can reach out to us on Twitter, @SpinfoilTheory, or write us an email at spinfoiltheory@gmail.com. If you'd like to read our show notes, check out articles, listen to past episodes, and more, be sure to pay us a visit over at our website, spinfoiltheory.com.
The Lore Network.